Hey guys, welcome back to another pick a card reading. For this reading, so this is a topic I've been thinking about doing for a little while. Um, are they good for you? Is this connection good for you? So I think with that being said, you know, the whole idea of this reading, I'm assuming what causes people to want to click on a reading like this is because they're in some way uncertain about their connection and whether it's good for them or not. So I would just say, be careful. Make sure that you're in the right headspace when you're coming to this reading and kind of mentally prepared to hear what comes out through the readings. Um, so there's a lot of cards, a lot of cards in each pile. Um, so I kind of, to explain the reading, first we're going to be kind of looking at how the connection makes you feel. And that's kind of a good way to start the reading to kind of make sure that you're resonating with that part so you're resonating with the rest of the reading as well. And then we have like basically a set of cards showing what's likely to happen if you kind of hold on to the connection, and then the other set of cards showing what's likely to happen if you move on from the connection or walk away. So again, just make sure you're in the right headspace to hear what sort of messages are going to come through. But to be honest with you, these are pre-shuffled piles, and I've kind of seen what's in them, and I don't think most of them seem to be quite positive, to be honest. So, yeah, go ahead and choose your pile. There's 5 piles here today, and we'll just get into your reading. Just a little additional thing. It's like 4 in the morning right now. Uh, some of you, well, most of you probably don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually said on my channel that I do work at night, and I'm off like very early, and so I'm functioning off of like 2 hours of sleep right now because I went into work a lot earlier than I typically go in. But I'm wired from caffeine, so I'm like, let's do a reading. And it's my favorite time to be awake is when everybody else is sleeping. It's so peaceful to me. So, anyways, choose your pile, again, to your reading, and yeah. Alright, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So, you chose this stone here. It's black. Oh no, this is rainbow obsidian. So here's the little crystal you chose, the rock, and let's see. We're going to look at your cards. And if you skip the beginning, basically like this reading is going to be split into 3 different sections. First, we're going to be taking a look at how your connection makes you feel. Just kind of like as a way for me to understand like kind of how you feel about your connection, of course, and also for you to know that you're in the right pile, that it is resonating with you, and so you can trust that the rest of the reading should resonate for you as well. So yeah, we take a look at your feelings for the connection, and then we take a look at what's likely to happen if you hold on to the connection, and then what's likely to happen if you move on from the connection. So, you have this card here, and there's 2 owls hugging. So, and this is a card kind of gonna talk about how you feel about your connection. Since there's 2 owls on there, it does make me feel as if maybe you and your person do have a very intuitive connection, that it's easy to kind of understand how each other feels about things, maybe even without like direct communication of it. And they are kind of hugging, and I kind of assume that for many of you, maybe you do have a very close connection with this person. So it's empathy. It says empathize without judgment and share freely to deepen connection. So okay, yeah, you have a lot of empathy for this person. You try your best not to judge them. Let's see. So you have burden. We have the 10 of Swords. We have the manifester, some Gemini energy with that. And we have the Five of Cups. Okay, so let's see. I guess, this is representing how you feel about the connection. So if this doesn't resonate with you, you might want to check into a different pile. But I would assume, yeah, you feel like kind of a heavy burden about your connection. We have the manifestor in the middle, and then we have the Ten of Swords and the Five of Cups. And both of those energies, well, especially the Five of Cups, tells me that this connection possibly, at least at this time, is disappointing to you, or maybe has time and time again left you feeling disappointed. With the Ten of Swords, that does talk about an ending, and it can be kind of like a betrayal or a a sort of difficult ending. And I kind of feel like you could be worried that, okay, that this connection is not very strong, that it could end at any given moment. You might feel a lot of anxiety about the future of your connection, and I would assume with the manifestor being in the middle is kind of a desperate sort of attempt to change your connection and transform it, manifest something like a new energy into the connection. The burden card, he's, carrying a lot on his back, and I kind of feel as if, like, I don't know, I've seen cars like this where it's almost like, you might assume that that person is like a hoarder or something, or like maybe homeless, they carry everything on them. But I also feel like when I look at this card, I don't think he just picked all this stuff up at one point and just started carrying it with him. I kind of feel like it's like things just keep adding on, and he's still going and he's still walking even though there's more weight to carry. So I kind of feel like that's how you're feeling in your connection. And you're possibly, I'm, of course, if you've clicked on a reading like this, then you're in some way questioning whether you should, hold on to this connection or maybe move on. And maybe, I feel like this energy shows that you're wanting to know, is this going to work out? Can we manifest something in this connection? Or is it kind of a hopeless situation? Is it bound to kind of just end? And with empathy there, I would be a little bit careful with that energy because, it's good to have empathy for people around you, but it's, and empathy, the difference between sympathy and empathy usually means sympathy is something that you don't necessarily know to the fullest extent. Like, you haven't necessarily been through that experience yourself, but you can still feel sympathy for someone. You can still kind of understand, where they're coming from, even if you haven't, been in that specific situation yourself. Empathy is when you have that experience, you've been through it. So I do feel like with the person, you're coming to this reading for, you connect with on a very deep level. And maybe it's like you see something in them because you've been through very similar things in life or something. And I feel like you could be very empathetic towards them and maybe making excuses for them. Like, yeah, they disappoint you and maybe it feels like you're being betrayed by this person at times, or that you can't manifest something better with them. But because of your empathy for them, you carry on and you carry this baggage with you. And, you kind of put up with the way this person makes you feel is kind of what I get. So I'm not going to talk on this part of the reading too much longer. Hopefully you resonate with this. Well, I mean, kind of not hopefully, but if you do resonate with this, then, you can feel confident that you're in the right pile. And we're going to be taking a look at what happens if you hold on to your connection, like what's most likely to happen. And then we'll also take a look at what's most likely to happen if you do decide to move on and let this person go. So let me make some room for the next set of cards. So, if you do decide to hold on to your connection, we have the card Sacred Friendship. We have Stimulation, Chili. We got some Aries energy there, fire energy. We have Worth Waiting For, divine timing is at work in your love life. Moth Spirit, surrender now. And we have take time to breathe out. Okay. So, to be honest with you, I think if you hold on, I mean, what messages come through? Well, we have Worth Waiting For and take time to breathe out. So it's kind of this energy of like, waiting for something, not much activity, taking a break. Again, you might feel bored. Like we have this energy of like waiting. So basically, I feel like what happens if you hold on is you're not going to be getting what you want out of the connection, to be quite honest with you. I feel like, yeah, maybe, you could wait around for this person. But I feel like it seems as if this energy is telling me that this person doesn't give you enough of maybe their time, their energy, for you to feel kind of safe in your connection. And I kind of feel like you could be dealing with someone who, yeah, I mean, it makes sense with how you feel about the connection that it could end at any moment, and that this person does disappoint you quite a lot. That, despite, maybe trying to think positively about things and manifest positive things, it kind of seems as if you feel betrayed. You don't feel like the connection is moving forward. And that definitely shows like that continues to be the case for you if you hold on to the connection. No doubt you do have a strong connection with this person, with Sacred Friendship. There's a strong bond. But and this could be a specific message for some of you, that if you know that this person is sexual, like highly sexual, and they like to connect with you in that way, and maybe they don't give you a whole lot else besides that, it may be what ends up happening if you hold on is that they do come back around for some spicy, encounters with you. But it seems to be overall a bunch of waiting, a bunch of maybe wondering about this person and being very curious about this person. And it seems like they might have a kind of flighty energy, and maybe you're looking for a connection that can provide more stimulation in maybe other ways besides sexual, or like maybe more consistently. So yeah, that's kind of the energy that comes up if you hold on to your connection. So let's take a look at what happens if you do decide to move on. So we have boundaries. I think that's pretty clear. Then we have number 33, wholeness, with black mulberry. We have some Aquarius energy and some water energy here. We have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Then we have starfish spirit, open to infinite possibility. As well as communication is key, with new moon in Gemini. So I mean, what do you think? Like, I would say it seems pretty clear that you might not get much out of this person if you hold on. But I do see if you do decide to move on, maybe what happens, and maybe this happens more, through more experience, or over time, being able to establish stronger boundaries within relationships, because the energy that's coming up for you and how you feel about your connection is that you feel very empathetic towards this person and perhaps making a lot of excuses for the way that they disappoint you. um, and maybe it's like, you kind of look at yourself and you think, well, maybe it's my mindset, and I have like I tend to look at things more negatively, and that's maybe causing negative things to happen more often or something like that. I think it's important to look at your relationships and not only like look at yourself and think about what you can improve on, but just look at how someone makes you feel. Yeah, you can technically kind of control your emotions by controlling the way you behave or react, but you don't always control how something makes you feel. And it's important to look at that. And I think you might have been maybe, again, creating excuses for the way this person makes you feel and thinking this is something wrong with you. And it's not necessarily saying that it's wrong, something wrong with the person, but just maybe that it's not the best fit. But yeah, I could see if you move on, you probably work on, it could be that for a while you have a hard time trusting, especially if you saw a lot of potential in the connection with this person. You might fear seeing that much potential in a new person. And I can kind of see, maybe being a little bit more cautious entering into new connections if you decide to move on from this person. But overall, it seems like, you will end up having a lot more activity within your connections if you do decide to move on, because, well, I'm certain most people coming to this reading are asking about more like romantic connections, but I wasn't intending this to have to be about romantic connections. It can be about any connection and whether it's good for you or not. I feel like if you move on from this person, you know, I feel like it's unrealistic to think someone's going to be right, right at your door as soon as you walk away, and you're just going to have tons of options, a bunch of people just waiting to like be with you or something like that. I kind of feel like, if you walk away, if you move on, you'll end up meeting a lot more people, new people. You might get into socializing more, getting yourself out there, maybe, starting up like a new social media account in order to meet people, or even for some of you, it could be, exploring new people through dating apps or something like that. But yeah, we have communication is key. So I kind of feel as if you move on from this person, you will be communicating more with other people. And I don't know if that's one specific person, but I feel like it's more like you're testing the waters, you're meeting new people, you're seeing what's out there. Especially with this starfish spirit, like open to infinite possibility. It's like you're just going to be open to meeting new people, seeing what's out there, new possibilities. And I think engagement there, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. I think that's probably what you're looking for. And I think you're going to find that if you are brave enough to kind of try out new connections and see where those new connections will go. We do have some Aquarius energy here, so we have like a very social vibe if you do decide to move on, and maybe not only like looking for a new partner. For some of you, you might not even be coming to this reading for romance. Like I could see new friendships coming in as a result of moving on from the connection. And it seems like there's a lot more activity, a lot more engagement. And I do want to read the Black Mulberry to see what else comes through in that energy. And I also, with it being number 33, the way I see that number, like I've usually seen that number come up the most in like, it's kind of odd, but like for some reason, like if I was ever listening to music and I got a little bit groovy with it and I decided to do a little bit of dancing, it seems as if I see like the number 33 a lot when I'm like in that kind of energy. Feeling very good in my body, which kind of, I also feel like this wholeness energy. It's like feeling good where you are, feeling like there's nothing you really need, that you just feel good in the moment, and just kind of like a lot of cheerfulness and happiness. So I do feel like that's something that you will be feeling more of if you decide to move on. But it says here, little things seem nothing, but they give peace, like those meadow flowers which individually seem odorless but altogether perfume the air. Everything should be coming together at present in projects and plans. The completion of something is indicated with black mulberries, and and the energy of this fruit asks you to put your knowledge and skills to the test. Balance and balance and stability are present, and at gosh, I'm not gonna be able to read it again. If you missed the beginning, I'm like running on like 2 hours of sleep right now, so bear with me. But yeah, let me read that again. Balance and stability are present, and from this foundation, the possibilities are expanding. Setbacks, delays, and miscommunication are challenges to watch out for. So yeah, I mean, I guess, well, it says right here, like, kind of implying that if you do move on, it's kind of a foundation, for new possibilities and expansion. And, just be aware to watch out for miscommunication. So maybe that's why, we have this sort of like Gemini energy coming out. There's like a more social vibe, and maybe it's important for you to really clearly communicate, like maybe proper boundaries in connections, like new connections, as well as just kind of communicating clearly so people understand you. We also have the planet Mercury associated with the card in Aquarius as well. So again, it's like a lot of conversations coming your way, maybe even new friends, new connections. Maybe someone starts off as a new friend, and then I really do feel like, at least with someone, we have engagement here. So with someone, there's going to be a stronger feeling of commitment. And, I feel like a stronger feeling of like partnership. So that's your message, pile one. I hope that brought you some clarity. I hope that the messages are helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Okay, pile two, welcome to your reading. So you chose the rose quartz. So we're going to be taking a look at how you feel about your connection first, and if that's resonating, then that means you're in the right pile. So that's partially why we're checking into how you feel about the connection. It's also for me to just kind of be a little nosy about how the connection makes you feel. And then after that, we're going to kind of take a look at what happens if you decide to hold on to your connection, like what's most likely to happen in that scenario, and then what's most likely to happen if you decide to move on and let go of them. So, yeah, let's take a look at your feelings. So we have self-care. Prioritize self-care individually and as a couple for a healthier relationship. So then we also have temptation. We have the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and we have the Four of Swords. Okay, so mostly this looks to be pretty good. I mean, we have the Nine of Cups here, so I would assume it's like the way you feel about your connection is that, if things go well in your connection, it seems like it would be kind of a dream come true, wish come true. This person seems to be kind of a wish fulfillment for you. Like, I think you feel very positively about this person, and you feel excited about them. I think with the Ace of Swords, you might be feeling like you want to know more about the connection. You want some truth to be revealed. Maybe you want to know how this person feels. Or you want to know the truth of this connection, which would make sense why maybe you came to this reading. Like, you feel very good. I feel like for some of you, since we have self-care here, we have temptation, and we do have the Four of Swords. So to me, I feel like what that means is, for some of you, you could not necessarily struggle with those things like self-care. Like, maybe it's not necessarily difficult for you to put yourself first in a connection and make sure that you're taken care of and that you don't end up neglecting yourself for another person. And I wonder if, for some of you, the Nine of Cups energy, it's like you see a lot of sort of value in the connection and in this person. And I think it gets you pretty excited and maybe causes you to, like, maybe there's a temptation to, like, forget about self-care a bit. So for some of you, it could be that that's the way this connection kind of affects you, is that you see so much like value in this connection, so much potential in this connection, and it makes you so excited, and maybe you think about this person a lot, and then it causes you to, there's a temptation there to kind of neglect yourself a little bit. Or even with this temptation card, she's covered in white, and then there's like these little demons around her. I'm pretty sure this is associated with the devil. So I do kind of get the sense that this person can get you to do things that you wouldn't normally be okay with doing. So maybe that's one way how this person makes you feel. Like, yeah, like maybe it's kind of easy for you to give into temptation or lose a sense of control with this person. But I think for most of you, you have the Four of Swords here, so I kind of feel like there's a level of patience with you. Self-care and the Four of Swords can also kind of imply self-care because it can kind of talk about taking a break, resting, and I feel like for some of you, part of the reason why you come to this reading, although you feel very good about your connection and about your person, maybe there's kind of a slower development happening in the connection. And while you're comfortable doing your own thing and resting, and maybe kind of like thinking about the future and making plans while taking breaks and, ensuring that you are taking care of yourself, for some of you, maybe it's that things, again, like are taking a little bit of longer time to develop in the connection. And it might be that you're growing impatient. You want to know the truth. You want to know what's ahead in the connection. And maybe in some ways it's causing you to be tempted to do things that you wouldn't normally do, or maybe a little bit of an obsessive energy over this person, and a tendency for some of you at times to kind of neglect yourself. But I want you to understand, for a lot of you, it could be that you're doing a really good job of self-care through this connection, despite whatever sort of temptations are coming up. It seems like you want to prioritize that, and you don't want to necessarily lose yourself in a connection, especially if, you don't always feel the most clear about it. So I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, so hopefully you like resonate with this part of the reading, and you feel like you're in the right reading. So now what we're going to do is kind of take a look at what happens if you decide to hold on. And then we'll compare that to what seems to happen if you decide to move on. So if you hold on to your connection, we have release desire to control, which I guess makes sense with the sort of temptation energy. Let's see. We have longevity. We have some Scorpio energy there and some air energy showing up. Okay, we have love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Whale spirit, trust in the great mystery. And we have a new romantic cycle begins. Okay, so for you guys, pile 2. I think basically what, the way you feel about your connection, what it tells me is that you do at times either tend to neglect yourself due to worrying so much or thinking so much about your connection. And maybe it's like in comparison to other areas of your life, maybe things don't usually like take much of your attention or make you so happy. So of course, if something makes you feel so happy, you might want to give all your time and all your attention to it, and in turn kind of neglecting other areas of your life. So I think that's going to be a challenge for you, not going to lie, if you do decide to hold on to your connection. But it doesn't, although that's a challenge, you have nothing to worry about, I feel, as far as like the person you're dealing with. I think you might be your biggest challenge in your connection. Self-soothing when things are slow, because we do have whale spirit, trust in the great mystery. So it could be that, if the connection does move along kind of slowly in your connection, and at times when there's not much activity happening, you feel very curious. And I could see in this pile a temptation to kind of push for the connection to move forward, push for progress in the connection. I feel like you might not be able to do that very well. Like maybe your person's not easily influenced by those things and they kind of just move on their own time frame, regardless of really how it makes anyone feel. But that's not to say that they're like non-committal. We have longevity. And here's the other thing too, actually. We have a new romantic cycle begins, and we also have longevity. So I do feel like there's a lot of potential for a long-lasting connection with this person. But yes, I do feel like there's the challenge here is loving yourself first and self-care, and releasing the desire to control. We also have Scorpio energy popping up, which can be again, like kind of a, well, not again, I don't think I touched on this, but kind of an obsessive and like very controlling energy at times. So yeah, there's going to be a need to self-soothe. And I also kind of want to say that it seems as if you have a lot of chances. Like you can kind of make mistakes, you can mess things up, you can learn from your mistakes. And I would say this connection is a good opportunity to learn from your mistakes and kind of look at yourself and look at what you might want to work on in connections. And that could be self-care and self-soothing, and work on, a sense of independence and feeling comfortable on your own within a connection. Because overall it seems like this person has the same interest in you as you have in them, but that maybe they like to take things slow, and that sort of slowness can cause maybe a bit of anxiety at times, a feeling of like mystery with this person. I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what they're up to, and there's going to be a need to kind of just trust how things play out with this person. I think the more you're able to do that, the more it seems as if there's like a really good connection that can last a very long time. So yeah, let's see what happens if you decide to move on. So we do have cut the cord. We have happiness. And for this one, we got some Gemini energy and some fire energy. We have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. We also have White Raven Spirit, trust in the magic. Number 66. Oh, that's cool. Oh, we have 65 and 66 here. Okay, so that, I feel like that kind of confirms some thoughts that I was having. And we have adjustments are required. So, part of the thing that I was feeling, if you do decide to stay and kind of hold on to your connection, along with what I was trying to say with like you can mess up, like you can make mistakes. It feels like your connection will be strong enough to handle that and to kind of like fix any sort of problems that do come up. It feels like this person is committed to you, not necessarily saying that they'll put up with anything, but I do feel like if they notice that you're working on things, especially if you do have a lot of anxiety when it comes to the connection, it seems like this person would be sticking around regardless of if you've done everything right or if you've made a few mistakes, if that makes sense. And I kind of feel like it could be hard to let go of this connection. There could be a lot of sort of lessons to learn in the connection. Maybe it's not meant to end, and maybe you're kind of meant to stay in it for a period of time. Um, what I kind of loved about happiness coming out if you do decide to move on, and I think this is a really healthy perspective to have in connections, is that you'll be okay whether you decide to stay with this person or hang on to the connection, or whether you decide to move on from the connection. Either way, you will be okay and you will have a happy life. I think that's important to kind of like know about connections. Like, yeah, we can have very like significant and important connections, but we should never look at a connection and think of it so strongly that like we're going to be sad without it, or we're going to be living a terrible life without it. And I think happiness came out to kind of reassure you that, yeah, if regardless of what direction you take, you're going to live a happy life. It's still going to be something that you enjoy. But we have to like pay attention to the red flags and white raven spirit, trust in the magic. And I kind of just feel like I don't know, with the whale spirit and white raven spirit, there we go. I get like a speech impediment randomly when it comes to like a lot of W's and R's being like too close together. I don't know, I just like completely lose my ability to speak. But yeah, we have like numbers 65 and 66, so I see a progression. And it almost makes me feel like even if you did like try to detach from this person and let go of them, in some way their energy still sticks with you. And that might be that, for those of you who are wanting to break free from this connection and maybe go in a different direction or move on, you might fight with that a little bit and maybe even if you move on, it feels like you think back to this connection often. And with the pay attention to the red flags, it seems like that has more to do with you than it has to do with necessarily people around you. Like, I don't feel like you necessarily need to worry about anyone around you and what their intentions are, but I feel like there could be this idea of, if you move on, kind of learning from your past connection with this person, what went wrong, what you could have done better, ways you could have taken better care of yourself or self-soothe, and how that could have benefited your connection. So I think there's going to be a lot of learning from this connection. Again, regardless of if you decide to stay or move on, like it feels like um, even if you decide to move on, you're like referring back to this connection often and thinking about it often. What did I learn from it? What did it mean to me? And using it as kind of a teacher for your like future connections. And again, like you have, trust in the magic, white raven spirit. So you'll be taken care of regardless of which decision you take. But to be honest with you, and don't take my words too seriously because it may not be true and I might just be, a little bit biased or reading into this energy in a certain way, and maybe it's just a specific message for some. But I kind of feel like it seems very spiritual. It seems kind of divinely guided. It seems like there's something you're meant to kind of experience or learn through the connection. So I kind of feel like you're going to be in it for a while, maybe regardless of if you try to detach or not. Like, again, either you're going to be very focused on this connection and trying to work it out, work through it, and stay with it. But if you do decide to move on, again, it's like you're kind of thinking back to the connection a lot, maybe even tempted to go back to the connection, work things out in the connection. Again, that's where I'm kind of getting like you can make many mistakes, and maybe this person will still want to kind of try and work things out with you. I can't, I kind of feel as if what ends up happening for some of you is that you do end up moving on, and it was kind of a learning experience, but it also kind of tells me that that's not maybe meant to happen yet. There's still some more experience that needs to happen, something that you need to learn, or something like that. But again, like, maybe that's just me looking into things. It does seem like there is a sense of mystery if you stay, working on releasing control issues and learning to self-soothe and take better care of yourself. And it can also come with this feeling like I never know, like I want to know. And there's like, in your energy of how you feel is the Ace of Swords, like I want to know, the truth. And it feels like it could take a really long time to understand what that is. And maybe what the truth ends up being is this kind of like self-discovery, learning more about yourself and what's good for you in a connection or not. um, it's possible that you stay with this person for a long time. There's longevity and a new romantic cycle begins. But I just think it's going to be important for you to have a sense of independence and be able to take care of yourself and self-soothe and love yourself first and be okay with things being a mystery sometimes. And if you can't handle that, it can be that you end up deciding to move on and use this connection as like kind of a teacher, and take what you learned from it and kind of try and do things a bit differently the next time or with a different connection. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that it brought clarity to you and your situation. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Okay, so moving on to pile 3. You guys chose this apophyllite crystal. So let's see. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna take a look at how you feel about your connection and make sure that you're resonating with that part. So like you're in the right pile, and feeling like you can trust the next part of the reading, which is kind of like we'll be taking a look at what's likely to happen if you hold on to your connection, and then we'll compare that to what's likely to happen if you decide to move on or walk away from your connection. So, how the connection makes you feel. So, we have Dreamweaver. Share your aspirations with each other and work to achieve them together. So, then we also have Confinement. We have the Moon, so some Pisces energy. I also kind of relate the Moon to Cancer for obvious reasons. And then we have Divine Masculine energy. Interesting. Okay. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So, one thing, we have the Dreamweaver, and we do have the Moon. So it does make me kind of feel like dreams might be significant. So I don't know, maybe you've had a lot of dreams of this person. You feel like you have a very intuitive connection with this person. The Moon also does make me think that there's this feeling that things are not clear, that you're looking for answers, which obviously that makes sense coming to a reading like this. Okay. I don't know. I feel like in one way there might be kind of two pretty different ways to read this. So I think for some of you, you have a more sort of practical energy rather than maybe a sort of dreamy energy. Like maybe for some of you, it could be that you're dealing with someone who is pretty emotional, pretty sensitive, pretty dreamy, likes to kind of cuddle. Um, I don't know. I feel like for some of you, it could be that you want to do a lot with your life. You want to achieve a lot. And maybe that kind of goes into your connections as well. Like you want a connection where you're getting things done, you're achieving things, you have your goals and you're going after them. And maybe it kind of feels like you're wanting a kind of like a power couple type of energy. Um, so for some of you, it could be that like you have a very sort of independent energy because you have aspirations, you have goals, you have a life. And it could be that you feel a little bit trapped at times by your connection, maybe by the dreaminess or not really actually doing things or getting things done. Um, for some of you, it could be more like the opposite thing, like where it's kind of like you want to connect with this person on a more deep and emotional level, and maybe you feel like you can't really do that because your relationship seems to be more about like goals and work and like the practical areas of life. Um, So I think the way you feel about your connection, maybe it is a very intuitive connection. Maybe you've dreamt about this person. Maybe things are, I would assume it's kind of like things feel unclear with them. For some of you, it could be there could be this feeling around like I don't know if I feel maybe possibly tied down by my connection and I want to have more freedom. I want to be able to do more with my life. And maybe you feel like this person has a tendency to hold you back, like they don't want to do as much. They want to like stay in and maybe just watch TV or like something like that. And it's like, no, I want to experience life. I want to go out and do things. I want to accomplish things. So for some of you, I could see an energy like that, and it's like you get a lot of good things with this person, but then you're questioning it because you feel a little bit trapped. You feel like you can't get things done. You feel like you don't have the free time to go do other things, something like that. um, Otherwise, I could feel like that's how this person is towards you, and maybe you feel like you don't really know what you're getting from them because it seems like they don't feel satisfied with just connecting on an emotional level, and they want to do other things. So maybe you feel like a little bit confused by that, and you feel like it's hard to develop the connection further with this person because of that. So I'm gonna hopefully you resonate with that on some level. The energy does feel just a little bit unclear to me, so hopefully you do resonate with it. It makes sense to you, and you do feel like you're in the right pile. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a look at what's likely to happen if you do hold on to this connection, and like I said, compare that to what happens if you decide to walk away. So if you do decide to stay and hold on, we have karmic relationship. We have attraction, pansy. We have some Libra energy there, along with, well, Libra is an air sign, but air signs in general. We have this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. We have parrot spirit, watch your words. And we have balanced spirituality and practicality. That kind of makes sense with I feel like what energy was coming out was how you feel about your connection. Okay, so I was getting this feeling that, you're probably, I feel like for most of you, you could even be in a connection with this person, like a relationship with this person, or it just seems like you're very entangled in each other, like you know each other, and well, if you decide to stay, it seems like you really feel like this could be the one. There's a lot of attraction between the both of you. I kind of feel like you already know that. I don't think that was ever a concern, really. But we do have karmic relationships, so there is challenges within the relationship, and I think the challenge has to do with the way you go about the relationship. Like one of you might be more about achieving goals in life, and the other one might be more about just the relationship. Who knows? And that's okay. And as long as a lot of other things match up with the person, you're always going to have some challenges within a connection. And I think that you and your person, if you decide to stay with your person, can work through challenges successfully. And there could be a lot to kind of work on in the connection and kind of learn from the connection. And I kind of feel like there might be there's a pretty significant difference between the two of you, maybe in the way you want to connect in a connection or things that you want out of life. But I feel like there's an energy of we can work on it together, and there's like an energy of that being just kind of there. Like I do feel like both people in this connection are willing to kind of work through whatever challenges come up. And I think part of the challenge could be, I don't know, I feel like there's a more sensitive energy and a lot more of a just kind of looking at things objectively and wanting to get things done and accomplish things energy, like a more practical energy, a more sensitive and emotional energy. And I think you might be the one who's more practical, and you're dealing with someone who's very sensitive, and it might be that you need to watch your words around this person if they are kind of sensitive. And I do feel like there can be, like, you might need to be a little bit more maybe working on your emotional expression at times and being more sensitive to this person, and maybe spending time with them in ways that are a little bit more lazy, or not doing so much, or just watching TV, or just cuddling or something like that. And it could be that the other person works on doing more, like getting up and let's get things done, let's go do things, let's experience life. So, and it may not be those things specifically, and maybe you do resonate with wanting to connect with this person on a more of an emotional level rather than just going out and doing things with them. I kind of just feel like there's an energy of cooperation and coming to like a middle ground with them and being able to overcome challenges and work things out so that the connection is like feels more comfortable for the both of you. So I think that's really good, and kind of shows a very strong connection. But let's take a look at what happens if you do decide to move on or let go of the connection. So we have beautiful possibilities. We have tranquility with Violet. Oh, and it's kind of, so pile 2? Yeah, pile 2 had, it was this deck here. They had a number 65, and then down here in the same deck they got the number 66. But it's interesting because you have 34, and then you also have 43. So I don't know, 3443. I kind of feel like you have a very strong connection with your person, that a lot of the times maybe you think about each other, and again it feels like a very equal partnership. So yeah, this is I guess additional message about that. We do have Pisces energy here, and some more air energy seems to be pretty strong. We do have a lot of sort of Pisces energy. We have codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. We have number 49, rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. And then we have work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Generally with tarot readings, I think it's pretty obvious that generally it's mostly like feminine energies watching. It's not too common to come across many like men that are interested in tarot. Not that it doesn't exist, but I would just say like something about this energy comes through a lot more masculine than other piles do. So yeah, I would assume like maybe if there are any men watching, it might be a more common pile in this one to choose, for men to choose this pile, but maybe that's just a little bit of bias, but it does feel kind of masculine. To me, it seems as if like someone does feel a little bit suffocated by a connection, feeling like maybe it's a little too emotional. Maybe there's a need to be too careful with how you phrase things or how you do things because you might end up upsetting the other person. And it could feel like maybe for you that with your connection, it feels like you're walking on eggshells a lot of the time. Like you might accidentally do something that upsets this person and you weren't even intending to do that. So that is something to kind of look at in connections, because I kind of feel like what this is saying, if you do decide to move on, if you decide to let go, we have tranquility. So there's like a sense of peace, right? Like you don't really have to worry about someone else's emotions, or you don't have to worry about how you're going to make someone feel if you do something a certain way. So there's like a sense of peace there. There could be a sense of like wonder, like, oh, what's out there, what's possible, and a feeling of like maybe wanting to explore connections in a very free way and not getting very attached or expecting too much. And there could even be like maybe a sexual energy that comes through, like wanting to explore things sexually with new people, something like that. And it kind of gives me this energy of like kind of being not very committed, wanting to have fun and not really care about, anything, to be honest. But along with that, in some way it tells me that you're not going to have to worry about someone's feelings. You're going to have a sense of peace. You're going to have a sense of freedom. I can do whatever I want and I don't have to care. And, maybe with the codependency card, it feels as if you really want to get away from codependent energies and connections. And maybe, in some way, the person that you're focused on right now and you have a connection with can be kind of codependent. Really like rely on you a lot, or really care a lot about what you say, what you do, what you think, anything. And maybe that having that much attention on you can feel uncomfortable. And I could see if you move on, it feels free, it feels exciting. I can see what else is out there and I don't have to be attached to anyone or care about anyone. And I can just have fun and do whatever I want. But I also feel like what possibility is, after things kind of die down and it's like you get away from this feeling of being trapped or suffocated in a connection and you can kind of just let loose and be free and have fun. It seems like there's a possibility at some point you could question if it was the right decision or not. Maybe that's part of this like new moon in Scorpio energy, work through your fears. Like there might be some fears coming up of, did I make the right decision? Just because, the energy coming through of if you stay. It's clear to me that you do see a lot of value in this person, and you see a lot of potential, and you feel like it could be a really good connection and something that you can't easily walk away from. So I could see that there's a possibility that after some time has passed, if you've walked away, if you've moved on, that it creeps back up where it's like, did I make the right decision? Did I let go of someone really special? And kind of like wondering about that. Um, and maybe that's just something that you question, and you look back and you're like, was that the right decision? Was that the right relationship for me? And there might be a bit of questioning in that. But I could also see this scenario of really enjoying your freedom, really enjoying your peace, really looking forward to new possibilities within connections, and maybe finding people who do, have a little bit of a less sensitive energy or a little bit less attached in connections and can be more free. And maybe that might be something that you need. Who knows? But I could kind of feel like maybe if you even do look back and you're like questioning, was that the right decision? Did I let go of someone really special? You might have those thoughts, and it could be that, at that point it is kind of too late, and you do end up kind of working through those fears, and you do feel in some way content with the direction you took, you're like the direction you took in life, coming to terms with it and being pretty comfortable with it and okay with it and kind of at peace with things. So I guess that's the message that comes out for you, Pile 3. I hope that that's helpful to you to listen to. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Okay, Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So you chose this like crystal kind of geode thing. Actually, cool thing about this one is I went out there and I found this myself. This was actually like the first genuine like rock hounding trip that I went on, and I was absolutely like I was so shocked to find this. So yeah, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at first like how you feel about your connection, kind of just because I want to know about it, and also to kind of like make sure that you feel you're resonating with the reading and you chose the right pile. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at if you decide to kind of hang on to your connection and stay in the connection, what's likely to happen. And we're going to compare that to what's likely to happen if you decide to move on or walk away from your connection. So for how you feel, we have patience. Practice patience to allow your partner space to express themselves. We have rethinking. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Eight of Wands. Then we have the Six of Pentacles. We got some pretty strong fire energy coming through, so maybe there's a lot of passion in the way you feel. I would assume so with the Eight of Wands. It seems like there's a good balance between you two as far as like what sort of effort that you put into the connection. And there could be, with the Eight of Wands, a lot of communication, a lot of fast communication. Maybe you talk with this person on a daily basis. I could definitely see that. So, okay, for some of you, I feel as if the way you feel about your connection is maybe that you do feel like things are good, you're excited about your connection, maybe things are progressing pretty quickly in your connection, and maybe for some of you that does feel maybe a bit overwhelming. We have patience, we have rethinking, and we have the Three of Wands, and it almost makes me feel as if at sometimes maybe you feel pressured to rush this connection forward when you're not ready. Like with, give your partner space to express themselves, like almost like let them come to you when they're ready. I almost feel like you feel a lot of pressure from this person to speak up on things before you're ready to. And maybe that's part of why you're questioning, is this connection good for me? Maybe that's why the rethinking card comes up, because although this energy looks very good, maybe there's this feeling of like, I feel rushed, I feel overwhelmed, I feel like someone's constantly waiting for me, and maybe that feels a bit suffocating. Kind of like that came through a little bit in the last pile, this feeling of being suffocated by a connection. Otherwise, it could be more like you could also resonate with something a little bit opposite of that, that although you do communicate with this person a lot, or maybe things seem to progress fast in this connection, and there's like, a sort of equal give and take. Maybe it's that you feel very excited about the connection, that you want to rush in, you want to jump in, and it feels like you're often waiting for this person, you're waiting for their response. Maybe it's like things started off really fast and the connection was moving very quickly, and then suddenly it seems like you're waiting longer, and you're wondering, and it's causing you to rethink things like, why if things were moving so fast and we were both so excited before, why are we suddenly pumping the brakes now? Like, why do I now have to wait for them? You could resonate with that too, but there's a sense of like patience in this connection, either feeling again rushed by this person to move things forward when you're not necessarily ready for it, or this person always kind of waiting for you, or maybe that's kind of your role in the connection, where you're often, more at this time waiting for this person and excited to hear from them. And maybe there's been a need to have more patience recently, and you're wondering, is that a sign of something? Should I be concerned about that? So hopefully one of those scenarios or those messages resonate with you, just to make sure that you do feel like you're in the right reading. And so what we're going to do now is, kind of compare two scenarios, if you stay or if you go. So if you decide to stay, we have romantic connection. We have clarity, carrot. We got some Virgo energy there. And I guess like earth energy is kind of highlighted. Okay, so we have make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. We have turkey spirit, give with gratitude and grace. And we have prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. Okay, yeah, I do remember now. I don't know. Like, okay, for some of you with your feelings, like maybe you don't even feel, necessarily, okay, like actually, sorry, okay, so let me chill for a second and think about how I'm going to say things. So for many of you, it could actually be that you're quite comfortable in your connection and you don't feel pressured, actually. That maybe even though things can be moving quite quickly, you don't feel pressured by them. You feel as though they're patient with you, that, you can kind of come to them when you're ready. And maybe they feel like, the same kind of with you, that you're patient with them and they can kind of just, feel free to express themselves as they want to, when they want to. And overall, it just seems like there's a very good connection. And I could see that being the case. And it seems like, I'm pretty sure I remember your pile being the most positive. Like, it seems as if there's really, like, it's this might be the one for you, is kind of how it feels, unless you're like really questioning otherwise. You have the best card in this deck for romantic connection. And by the way, I'm definitely like looking at this reading and reading it in a more romantic sense, but it's definitely totally okay if you're not coming to this reading for a romantic connection. It could be any connection and whether it's good for you or not. But, just kind of take the romantic aspect out if that's not the type of connection you're here for. But basically, like, you have the best cards when it comes to if you decide to stay in the connection. It feels like it's a very positive connection. It feels like, again, with the Six of Pentacles, there's a mutual effort, in the connection. Like, you make the effort for this person and this person makes the effort for you. And I don't feel like you doubt that. Maybe it does resonate for some of you that there has been a feeling of needing to wait a little bit longer recently in the connection, and that causes some questioning. I basically, what I see is if you stay in the connection, that sort of confusion or rethinking energy clears, and there's nothing to really question with this person, and you have mental clarity about the connection. You feel confident, and it seems as if this person might be meant to be in your life, like in your day-to-day routines, in your daily life, seeing them on a daily basis, doing daily things with this person. I feel like you have prosperity lies ahead. There's a lot of earth energy. We have Taurus, we have Virgo. We don't have Capricorn, but I mean, that's kind of still there with this sort of earth energy being highlighted. But I feel like there's a sense of working together. This person will have a lot of appreciation for you and will want to show that, I think, through their actions. And I think you'll kind of want to give back. And, there's like a very mutual energy, a very positive connection with this person, and a lot of, like, I guess, success with this person. Seems like this is, I would say, in my opinion, this seems to be a good connection for you. But, I mean, I guess we'll still kind of look at, what happens if you decide to let go or if you decide to move on. So we have a red flag. We have duality, banana. So we have, it seems to be some water energy there. We have heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. We have lion spirit. Be generous of spirit. And then we have confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. So the interesting thing, the way I interpret like if you let go, it's almost, to me it seems as if this is kind of like a warning that maybe you don't want to let go. I got this feeling when I shuffled out your pile initially that you might have this feeling that if I'm questioning a connection, does that mean there's something wrong? Does that mean that that's bad? Is that a red flag? Does that mean I need to walk away? And I think I'm gonna read this card, duality. Before I guess I keep talking about my little idea here. So, okay. Gardening is civil and social, but it wants the vigor and freedom of the forest and the outlaw. It is time to look at the shadow and the light in conjunction with each other. Each is as strong as the other, and both have positive qualities and learning points for you. The answer to any question is maybe, and perhaps moving away a little will allow a better view, as Bananas asks that you stand back and look at the horizon. Do not give into any situation that doesn't align with you at present. Interesting. Yeah, no, I think that also kind of confirms what I was thinking. Because to be honest with you, it does come through to me, but I would be reluctant to say this message because I don't want to make it sound like there's one person for you, and if you miss out, that's it, and you're never going to have another good connection ever again, because I don't believe in that, and I'll never kind of push that message to be true for anyone. But like, I mean, if you walk away, it's like it's a red flag if you do, and it seems as if, like, I kind of, again, like what I was trying to say earlier is maybe I sense some insecurity in you, that the fact that you question it, that you're rethinking things, must be a sign that it's not meant for you, that it's wrong for you, or that you're not moving in the right direction, and you should pay attention to the fact that you questioned it. And I think it's okay. And I think there might be a need for some of you to hear that it's okay to question your connections. That doesn't mean that it's bad for you to question a connection and evaluate whether it is good for you or not. I think it's responsible to do that, and it's a healthy thing to do. And I don't think it's like inherently a sign that it's bad for you. I think it is important, if you're constantly questioning a connection and you're constantly like asking yourself, is this good for me? That might be something to really pay attention to and to look at. But, if you've been questioning your connection recently, although it's good, I think there is still, it's okay to do that. It's in some way, it is a little healthy to do that. So don't think that means that the connection is bad for you if you are kind of questioning things or evaluating things. I also kind of feel like what this is saying to me is like, I do feel like essentially like you'll just kind of be with this person is what it feels like to me, because the duality in banana, the answer to any question is maybe, and perhaps moving away a little will allow a better view, as bananas ask you to stand back and look at the horizon. So I kind of feel like it's almost like your decision to walk away might show up as like, I need a break. I just need to kind of think, about things for a while and really make sure, I'm doing the right things. And it might come across as like putting the relationship on pause to kind of really figure yourself out and to gain a sense of clarity about where you want to go or where you want to be in life. And I kind of feel like the scenario that would happen is like, okay, I need to step back. I need to take a break from this and kind of look at it for a while. And it can be like, to me, what it seems like is the lion energy coming up a lot. Like maybe Leo energy is significant, but I feel like your loyalty is like maybe undeniable or very significant, or it seems as if even if you decide to kind of reevaluate, take some time out and take a break from the connection, I think you'll find yourself coming back towards the connection anyways. There's a sense of loyalty, and maybe after you've taken a break or I kind of feel as if there's an energy of feeling more confident about your connection in the future anyways. And it does feel as if like you might just kind of, it just might be a break for you to kind of figure things out for a period of time. And I've heard that does work for, a decent amount of people in connections. I don't always think that's, usually people's idea of like taking a break in a connection just means like it should be done. We should just not even entertain a break. It's just over at that point. But I've also seen for many people that does end up working in their favor, and it ends up strengthening the connection. And yeah, in the beginning, your feelings towards this connection, the patience card comes up, right? Is it the patience card? Yeah, it was. So I kind of feel as if, again, there's like a sense of patience. Like you'll hold patience for this person, they'll do the same for you. And if you need time to step away from the connection to just really be certain about yourself or certain about the connection, I think this person would allow that. Although they might be a little bit upset, a little bit disappointed, I could kind of see like coming back to that person, having heart-to-heart conversations, explaining how you feel, what you went through, what you learned, and kind of expressing that you feel more like certain about the connection and you feel confident about the connection. It might be for some of you that does end up happening. But even if you don't decide to take that route, it seems like regardless of which route you take, whether you decide to stay in the connection or you decide to move on, maybe just for some time, either way, it seems like you gain some sort of clarity about the connection, and then you feel confident about the connection. So I hope that makes sense. You know, I would always say, before just listening to a tarot reading and having that decide things for you, really listen to your intuition and listen to your heart, and you're going to know best what's, best for you. And that's kind of what this card is talking about, uh, don't give into any situation that doesn't align with you at present. So if what I'm saying doesn't feel like it aligns with you, don't listen to me. Just listen, follow your own advice, follow your own intuition, and your own sort of inner compass and inner guidance. But, hopefully this reading does give you a sense of maybe reassurance or a little bit of clarity, or it is helpful in some way. So thank you for watching File 4, and I'll see you in another reading. Bye. Alright, Pile 5, welcome to your reading. So you chose the selenite crystal. So let's see. So first what we're going to do is take a look at how you feel about your connection. Just give me some information about that, and then also should resonate with you, and if that's resonating, then we'll move on to the rest of the reading. And it's just also just kind of a way for you to confirm that you have chosen the right reading. So, and then after that, we're gonna kind of compare what happens if you try to stay in the connection or hold on to the connection, or what happens if you decide to move on or let go of the connection. So, starting off with your feelings, we have equilibrium. Maintain a healthy work-life balance, making time for your relationship. We have kindness. We have the awakening. We have basically it's the Queen of Swords. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Okay. So, the messages that sort of come through to me with these cards for how you feel about your person, I think you do kind of wonder about them a bit. I'm kind of seeing you as the Queen of Swords, and maybe the person that's on your mind, the person you have a connection with, is maybe a more Knight of Wands energy. So, like with equilibrium, it's like healthy work-life balance, making time for your relationship. So I kind of feel like this is someone who can be busy from time to time. Maybe they're often doing many different things. They're kind of a scattered energy or distracted, and, maybe has a lot of energy in their day. I kind of feel like this might be someone who likes to have a lot of fun. And I think you wonder about them. I think for the most part you feel very good about your connection with them. And I feel like you might have felt like you had an energy that you needed to really guard yourself in connections. And I think you still have that kind of energy with this person and in this connection. Like, you are a bit guarded. You don't want to give in to your emotions too much with this person just yet, especially if this is like a newer connection. I kind of get the sense that this might be a newer connection for you guys. And it's almost like I kind of feel like it might resonate for some of you that you've been very kind in connections, maybe a little too kind, and so you kind of had to learn to balance that out and be a little bit more careful with maybe, expressing yourself too early within a connection before you really know what's going on. You don't want to be deceived. You don't want to be tricked, that kind of thing. And it feels like you've had to have your guard up in connections maybe for quite some time. And I feel like for some of you, it might, to me, it feels like meeting someone new, and kind of having your guard up as usual, but maybe this person's really kind to you. Maybe this person gets you to open up to them a little bit more. And maybe you feel as if this could be someone that you could let your guard down with, and then you can kind of show them your softer side. So it kind of feels like, to me, it's like you're looking at this person and you're like wondering, like it seems like they've caused this sort of sudden feeling in you that you're questioning, is this the one, or can I let my guard down with this person? Can I really open up? Can I really show them like a softer side of myself or not? Or do I have to protect myself with them? Because I feel like in some way you feel like this person's really nice. This person really like does prioritize you, even if they have other things going on, and you can see that, which is why I feel as if you felt this idea of like, maybe I can let my guard down with them, because it seems like they've shown you something that makes you feel like you might be able to trust them. And I feel like for those of you who chose this pile, you might have struggled with feeling like you can trust people in connections, and kind of, again, really guarding yourself, especially in the beginning of a connection. So I think you're kind of at a point where you're wondering if you can let your guard down with this person or not. So let's see. So, if you decide to hold on to this person and stay in the connection, we have learn more about each other. Which, again, it does make sense if this is kind of a fresh, new connection. We have passion with beetroot. We got some, I think that's some Leo. It looks a little bit like, isn't this normally supposed to be a closed circle for the sign of Leo? I was kind of wondering, like, is that supposed to be a North Node sign? Or symbol. But yeah, I think that's Leo. And we do have some earth energy here being highlighted. We have, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. We have electric eel spirit. Bring your ideas to life. And we have conclusions are within reach. So yeah, I feel as if for the most part it seems like things are looking good if you do decide to stay in the connection. Like it doesn't feel like anything really bad will happen. I don't want to promise that this person's gonna like be, the one for you, and you're just gonna, get married and everything's gonna be perfect and you're gonna live happily ever after. But I kind of feel like there's gonna be a lot of curiosity about each other, getting to know each other, spending time together, a lot of passionate sort of moments with each other. The Leo symbol does tell me that there may be more loyalty than you expect out of this person. Even the 7, I kind of noticed that it's number 7 with passion. Kind of makes me think of the 7th house, which can, talk about long-term partnerships. So for some of you, maybe that is a possibility, that this could be a long-term partnership for you, and there's more loyalty than you're expecting out of this person. At the very least, I don't feel like this is someone who's wanting to harm you, betray you, do anything shady. I think this is someone who's safe for you to love and kind of see, learn more about them, see if things, will work with them. I think that's going to be a lot about what happens when you stay with this person, or like you hold on to them, is kind of like, again, learning about each other. Conclusions are within reach. It could be that you have a lot of questions about your connection that, you do find conclusions to, you find answers you feel clear about. So because I kind of did get a sense of wondering about this person. Can I let my guard down with this person? And I think if you stay, there's a point where you do feel comfortable with them, and you let your guard down with them. You open up with them on a more emotional level, possibly. and you're able to kind of really show your kindness to them without feeling like it's being taken for granted, or you're not being taken advantage of, is what I feel. I feel like there could be a lot of planning. Again, a lot of getting to know each other, getting to know each other's like ideas about things, and it seems as if there's a lot of wondering and figuring out if you two are right for each other, and maybe there's a lot of passion in that, and excitement and curiosity about each other. I feel like the reason why I can't give a straightforward answer as to whether, this person will be with you, in the long run or not, is because I kind of feel like for some of you, like, you'll feel safe with this person. You'll be able to open up with them and spend a lot of time with them and get to know them. There's a lot of passionate moments with them, a lot of curiosity, talking and getting to know each other. But I feel like for some of you, what ends up happening is over time, it seems as if it's maybe not the right fit for you. This person doesn't betray you. They don't do anything to hurt you. They have good intentions with you, but there might be maybe a sort of mutual decision. Maybe it's not mutual, but there's a comfortability in, I guess I should say it's just that even if you do end up walking away from this person because one of you decides that it's not the best match, I don't feel like there's walking away with, it's not betrayal. It's not like a deep, it's nothing like that. Of course, like, there might be some hurt feelings, but I don't think this person has necessarily bad intentions. And for some of you, I want to remind you, the Leo energy there and the 7 there does make me think that there's, again, like an unexpected loyalty from this person, that you will end up spending like maybe a long time with this person. If not, for some of you, maybe this does end up being like your life partner or something, or this connection does last like a very long time, if not like a lifetime. But again, I don't want to like push that message for everyone, because I think the reason why that doesn't seem to be so clear is because for some of you, it might be that everything is good with this person, but maybe again, it's like this coming to conclusion that maybe there's better options somewhere else. I can't say for sure, so it might be one of those things. But let's see, if you do decide to move on or walk away, we have allow divine timing. We have corn, sweet corn with ritual. And then we also have another little Leo sign here, and it's more earth energy. So, okay, you know what? Hold on, let's pull more cards. We have very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Okay. Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. Okay, yours was another one. So I feel like there was a few piles, I think 2 other ones, where this energy kind of came out, where it's like, it's almost like what I'm seeing in the cards is that most of you might go in one direction, or it's almost like in your case, we have allowed divine timing, ritual, and a spirit has a plan. So it almost feels as if on some level you're not in full control over what happens in this connection. So we have don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. So there's some more Leo energy. Again, I kind of feel as if there's like unexpected loyalty out of this person. Like you don't feel like this person could be loyal or something like that. And somehow the connection does last a long time. I will end up reading this card, but basically what it makes me feel is if like we have a number 10 here, which generally tends are associated with like something ending, a completion, the ending of a cycle. So I kind of feel like in the scenario where you move on or you walk away, yeah, there's like an ending in doing that. I kind of feel like with ritual and this sort of like very spiritual energy where maybe you don't have full control over the things that happen. I kind of feel as if there might be a little bit of a back and forth energy. Like if you decide to walk away, you try to move on or something, like you might get sucked right back in. Let me look at the card. Okay, so from the book, it says, though there may be unknown forces. Okay, yeah. Though there may be unknown forces surrounding and working for you. Wow, okay, that's crazy. That's a little weird. I don't know, guys. Pile 5, you might not have a whole lot of control over this situation. I think you might have a lot more fear than you need to have about this connection. And maybe there's been a sort of energy in my readings lately of kind of wanting to avoid your feelings, avoid a connection, maybe due to fear that you believe it's not going to work out well. And it seems as if there's like an energy that keeps coming back around that it's like, well, you don't really have a choice. You're going to feel the feelings you feel. You're going to have this experience, and it's just going to be how it is. And I kind of feel like, yeah, let me keep reading. You are being prompted to join in through dedicated study and physical action. Beneficial esoteric teachings are worthwhile pursuing, and a deeper connection with another is being forged. Perhaps without you even realizing it. Damn, like this is so strong. Okay. Be careful of secrets and confidential knowledge that may cause harm. Okay, so I don't know. I just kind of feel as if, it is safe for you to love coming out. And I kind of got this whole idea of like, I don't know if I can let my guard down. I don't know if I can trust anyone or this person. Yeah, it seems really nice, and I have really nice feelings for this person. I've been awakened to a sort of noticing a possibility somewhere and being kind of afraid of that because maybe you've been betrayed in the past or people haven't had great intentions with you in the past. Um, and it's possible that some of you may try and walk away from the connection maybe due to fear or feeling like I need to keep my guard up, I need to not let anyone in type of thing. And even if you do that, it feels as if there's energies working around you. Koala spirit has a plan for you, and allow divine timing is saying like this is happening when we decide it, and maybe you don't have a whole lot of control over it. The ritual, a ritual is like something we do over and over again, right? So I kind of feel as if even if you try to walk away, you do get sucked back in some way. There's a lot of Leo energy, which to me I think of like strength and loyalty, even romance for some of you. Again, this doesn't have to be necessarily a romantic connection that you're asking about, but it seems like perhaps even if you let this person go. Yeah, it says here, and a deeper connection with another is being forged, perhaps without you even realizing it. I feel, and that's, in the position of if you walk away. So I feel like, regardless of whatever you choose, it seems as if there's still a bond that's being forged between you and maybe this person. And it seems as if you're going to be taken care of. That's for sure. It seems like Spirit knows what's up. They know what's going down, and they know the plan for you. So I think you'll be taken care of. it's safe for you to love. Regardless of what you choose, it seems like you're meant to have an experience here. That sort of message seems to keep coming up in my readings lately. So I don't know, maybe you've gotten a few of those messages in some of my other readings already. And it's just kind of coming back around to remind you that it's coming for you regardless of whether you really put in a whole lot of effort in it or not. So yeah, just that's your message, pile 5. I hope that was interesting for you. I hope that it was helpful to listen to. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.